The outskirts of Feakle, County Clare, a housing scheme that brings hope to a community that until recently was heading towards near extinction. For some local men, it means a job at home instead of a London or Birmingham building site. And for the village, these houses signify a new lease of life to a society whose population had been drastically depleted over the years. First, by the old enemy, emigration, and then, in recent years, by the new industries at Shannon and Limerick, siphoning off the young people of the area to the production lines. That was the situation that Father Harry Bohan found when he returned to Shannon in the late 60s. He and a group of local people decided to form a house-building cooperative, and in November 1969, they set up the Rural Housing Organisation, a rather unusual involvement for a priest whose previous experience had been in social work in the English Midlands, and who currently has the rather novel distinction of being an employee of a semi-state body, the Shannon Free Airport Development Company. 12 villages in the area were designated for house development, and work on the first 20 started here at Feakle last April.
Well, they were started really because in spite of developments, industrial development in Shannon, Limerick and Ennis, young people were still leaving the villages. And in fact, I suppose the movement out of villages was even almost accelerated because of developments in the bigger growth centres. So in order to channel the people back into them, we started here about 2 years ago. We've since started in about 12 villages in region of Clare and Limerick, and we have found that the people want to live here, and it's as simple as that.
Why did you yourself become involved in this scheme?
Well, really, I come from Feakle. My roots are here, and I felt that most of the lads that grew up with me and after me had felt the same way about it as I do, and that their first love was Feakle. They wanted to come back here, and I think the same thing applies to most people who leave. That a displaced person can be a very discontented person, and you just can't keep on forcing young people out of the areas where their roots are without expecting trouble. So this is really the reason that we didn't force them. They said to us they want to live here.
The Rural Housing Organisation estimate that their initial building schemes will need in the region of £600,000. Already, over 30 local tradesmen are employed. In these days of spiralling house prices, the Feakle experiment certainly shows that expensive corners can be cut. A 3-bedroom, centrally heated semi selling at £3,200 is a proposition that surely must be unheard of anywhere else in Ireland in 1973. By using the available local government grants and borrowing the remainder, the Rural Housing Organisation is giving the opportunity to people to live in an environment in which they are best adjusted to, at rock-bottom prices. But for Father Bohan, there is an added personal reason for his involvement in the venture.
The net cost of the houses here, in comparison to Limerick, there seems to be about £3,000 of a difference between here and Limerick at the moment. And obviously, the only conclusion we can come to is that the builders in Limerick are making a substantial profit on the houses, because if we can build for this kind of price, and then obviously they could build for far less even in Limerick, and even taking the cost of land and things like that into account.
So would you think that the cooperative type housing might be something that people should give a closer look to?
Well, I think that if anybody that can approach the building of houses in this kind of way will obviously be cutting the cost by a very substantial amount.
12 months ago, there were only 3 people between the ages of 20 and 30 living in the village of Feakle. By April next, 20 young families will have arrived to breathe a new life into a community that might have been just another statistical casualty of the industrialisation of Ireland.